guys, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me again today. But if you are new, I am Sam and I do all things Disney. So if you love Disney just as much as I do, then please consider subscribing to the channel, joining my little Disney community. I would absolutely love for you to stick around. So guys, today I've got some really, how can I put it, sad news. Obviously it says in the title about me cancelling the trip. This was purely my decision. There was no like anyone telling me to, you know, like in the past, you know, they've been cancelled because we haven't been able to leave the country, but this is purely my decision, and I'm going to be telling you why I've made this choice. And yes, I hope I haven't disappointed too many people, but yes, I'm going to be telling you why I've done it and all of that, so keep tuned guys. So guys, as most of you know, I was meant to be going to Disneyland Paris through the Christmas season. We was meant to go the 10th of December, and I've been going on about it for the past couple of months. I've been so happy about it. I did a trip announcement on my channel, all good to go. I even did my pack with me video a few days back, and it's all packed. It's on my bed right now and I've got to unpack it all. Basically what happened is that most of you will know that there's this new variant of COVID come out, and if you don't know, where have you been guys? There is a new variant out because it's so new, and I think it's come from Northern Africa. I think it's very, very new. Scientists don't know what is the strength of it. They don't know if it's going to be more advanced as our normal COVID. Is it going to be more deadly in a fashion? We just don't know much about it. So the government has put certain rules in place so we can kind of nip it in the bud before it spreads. But coming to that, there is really massive restrictions when it comes to travel, and these restrictions came out in England today, I think it is, which is the 1st of December. But then, and obviously we go on, well, we was meant to go on the 10th of December, so these rules was obviously put into place, and the rules is that if anyone coming into the UK, they have to have a negative PCR test day 2 when you come back into the UK, or you know, within the day 2 threshold. So that was one thing where I was a bit, oh, that is a lot of money for a family of 5, because I've got 2 adults, 3 children, and PCR tests from the company I was going to get them from was £48 per person, which is over £200 just on PCR tests. Before the rules changed, it was just a lateral flow test, so they was only around about £22 each, which was over just over £100 for a family of 5, so that was more affordable. But now it's changed to a PCR test, that the cost goes up dramatically, as you know. But then before all these rules changed, France actually changed their rules as well, and the rules for that is if you are not vaccinated, you have to have a lateral flow test every 24 hours. So you have to have a flow test 24 hours before you fly into Paris, and then you have to have daily testing every 24 hours. You have to have a lateral flow test just to make sure you are negative. But a few weeks ago it was only a lateral flow test before you go, 24 hours before you go, and then you had to have one every 72 hours. And I was okay with that, and that was cost effective. It was okay. but now obviously it's changed and it's every 24 hours. And the reason we have to have this is because me and my husband is fully vaccinated. My under 12s, they don't have to have any kind of testing, and the vaccination program is not actually being offered to them, so they was okay to enter into France. But my son, he is fully vaccinated, and I know what you're going to be saying, guys, well, he's fully vaccinated, he doesn't need these lateral flow tests. The reason being is because I live in the UK, and children age under 16 have no way of proving their vaccination status. Our NHS don't provide any documentation to prove that they are fully vaccinated. So my son is fully vaccinated, but I can't prove it to the French borders. I can't prove that he is vaccinated, so he would have had to gone through all the testing. So my son would have had to have a lateral flow test the day before we actually went, and then it was daily testing when we actually got into France. So that would have been five tests altogether for him, and they was obviously £22 each. So when that changed, I just thought, oh my goodness, the money was really mounting up for all the testing we would have needed. So I don't know, I wasn't thinking, guys, and I paid for the 5 flow tests, and I also paid for 5 flow tests for when we actually got back into the UK. But then when the rules changed, I had to get the PCR tests for when we got back into the UK. So I also paid for the PCR tests as well. So altogether, I had 9 flow tests and I had 5 PCR tests. So as you can imagine, that came up to just under £500 for all of the testing we needed to basically have our 3-day trip in France, just to go to Disneyland Paris for 3 days. And I wasn't thinking, and I was just chucking all this money into the testing, buying all these testing stuff what we need, and then obviously the rules changed, and I was just out of my element. I really was. And then also I'll mention that you do have to isolate when you get back home in the UK until you get a negative result of your PCR, which my husband starts work the day after we get back. So if we didn't get the result back in time, then he would have lost a day's work as well. So that is more money loss. So yes, I was really out of my element. I was starting to really worry about the cost of everything, but not just that, it was the stress of if my son came positive in one of his daily testing, then we would have to isolate in one of the hotels over in France, and that's on the cost of us. Basically, we would have to pay for that. Obviously I knew that anyway, you know, if he did come to be positive, he would have to isolate, but when it's daily testing like that, all you have to have is a inconclusive test, or a false positive test, or just something along them lines where it would really interrupt your trip, and then you'd be paying a lot of money out. So obviously this was my choice to cancel. I'm not saying what you should do as a person. Obviously a lot of people still going with their families. It's completely up to you on what you choose to do, guys. This is just my personal experience, my personal choice of what I've decided to do. So just a disclaimer that I'm not responsible of anyone if you decide to cancel and you blame me and telling me that it's my fault that I told you to cancel. But I'm not telling you to cancel at all. I'm just telling you my personal experience and why I've chose to cancel. It's purely because the uncertainty of everything, the rules could change again within a couple of days because of this new virus what's come out. It is starting to spread a little bit more in the UK, and I do feel that the restrictions may tighten, and we don't go for another, well, we wasn't meant to go for another 9 days, and a lot can happen in 9 days, guys. As we all know, one day we're fine, we're walking around, the next day we was in full blown lockdown. So yes, I decided to kind of like grab the balls by its horn and just kind of decide, why are we going if it's causing so much stress? And the children didn't know about it anyway. They didn't know about this trip. I kept it to me just in case anything like this happened, you know, with the rules changing and the uncertainty, and I had to cancel. I decided to not tell them till like the day before we went, so they're not disheartened in any way. They didn't know about this, only me and my husband knew about this. And the point where I actually cancelled, it was a massive relief. I was getting so overwhelmed with all the testing, all of the rules changing all the time, because it literally went from one day where the rules changed in France of daily testing to then the rules changing in England with the isolating before you get the negative test, and then the PCR tests, and it became so stressful. And I just thought, why am I doing it to myself? And the pure reason is that I want to take my children away. I want to take them to Disney. They've not been to Disney for 18 months now, and I just really wanted to take them. But I just kept thinking to myself, is it worth it? Because all it takes is one hiccup, for example my son testing positive, and because we go on the 10th of December, there is a massive chance that we wouldn't get back into England until after Christmas, because of flights and everything, and obviously you have to isolate for 10 days. So there's that massive worry there that if any hiccup did happen, that we won't get back into the UK. And I just thought, okay, so why am I doing it? Obviously I want to take the kids on holiday and everything. But then I just thought, my channel, I really want to get some more Disneyland vlogs on my channel. I really want to vlog it and tell you what it's like at Christmas and stuff like that. But then I was thinking, I've really got to put myself and my family first before I put my channel first. And I just thought, I need to really think about my priorities. So I decided as you know, as my family unit, that it was the right thing to do, is to cancel it and then later on down the line book again. This trip, what I actually cancelled, was a 4th time changing the dates, and I just thought, should I change the dates again or should I just cancel it completely? And I decided just to cancel it completely, just because I don't find any point anymore of keep on putting the date back, because then you get that worked up of, oh, in a couple of months we're going to Disney and it's going to be fantastic. But then you get those dilemmas of the restrictions changing because of COVID and everything. Just the uncertainty really dragged me down recently. And in the UK now, we have to wear masks again in public places, and that is just telling me that COVID is not gone, and I really need to just prioritise a bit. And I know all the testing, it's just not worth it, to be honest. It was going to cost, like I said, it was going to cost just under £500 for all of the testing we needed to do while we was in France, and while obviously when we get back. And when it turned to PCR testing, it was just becoming unaffordable for so many. So obviously if you can afford to go with PCR testing or the other testing, you know, do it. You know, if you feel safe to do it as well, that is something you choose by yourself with a family. But for us, it just wasn't worthwhile. But also it's the risk factor as well. My daughter is high risk, she is cardiac, and if she catches if she catches this in any way, she's a massive risk. You know, she could seriously hurt her health, or, you know, anything could happen. And if she did catch this new variant, no one knows what this could do. So I had to put health first, priorities first, my family first. That's why I did it. So guys, that is why I decided to cancel the upcoming trip. I am gutted, and I am a bit bummed that I wasn't able to deliver on what I won't say promised you, but what I really wanted to produce for you, and that was Disneyland Paris Christmas vlogs. I am truly gutted, but I hope you do understand, guys, that I do have to put my family first, and I do have to put certain priorities first, and this was just not the right time for us to go as a family. So I'm so sorry, guys, that there is not going to be any Disneyland Paris Christmas vlogs this year, but I do feel that next Christmas I may have a short trip for me and my husband, because we're fully vaccinated and there would only be certain kind of rules for us as just a couple going. But it's so much harder when you're going as a family, especially when you're going with children. There's so much uncertainty when you're going with children, and I just feel if I do want to obviously dish out some Disneyland Paris videos, that the easiest way for me to do so is to go with me and my husband, test the waters, make sure, you know, it's truly settled when it comes to COVID before we do take our children anywhere abroad. So guys, thank you so much if you have got this far into the video and you just stuck with me this whole time. I know you will. You're all fantastic and you all support me massively, but I just feel I've let you down, and I'm just so sorry that I've done that. But I do hope you understand, and I do hope you continue to support my channel, because I absolutely love every single one of you. You're like my little family. You're my YouTube friends, and I love you guys, and thank you so much for supporting me always. So guys, that's all I've got for you today. Thank you so much for me waffling on, basically, and hopefully you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one, guys. Bye.